Hey everyone, welcome back to Triple R Financial. You can find me on all social media platforms by searching triple_R financial. Today, we're diving deep into a controversial topic, inspired by a post from John Hope Bryant. He said, and I quote, "All a drug dealer is an illegal and unethical entrepreneur." Now, this got me thinking. Why does it so often seem like people doing the wrong things are so good at making money? First, let's define what being poor really means in this context. It's not just about having little money. It's when your income is less than your basic necessities, leaving absolutely no room to save. There's nothing to cut back on because there's no waste to begin with. This constant struggle takes a huge toll on your physical, mental, and emotional health. As I always say, accounting is the past, business is the present, and finance is the future. It's frustrating, but it often seems like people on the wrong side of the law have a masterful grasp of all three. They might not have a fancy degree or any formal education, but they appear to be living better than many hard-working, educated people. Let's explore why. John Hope Bryant listed several skills a successful drug dealer needs. He mentioned they understand import, export, finance, marketing, wholesale, retail, customer service, security, logistics, and even payroll. Now, let me be crystal clear. I am not glorifying this lifestyle in any way. The criminal activities are wrong, period. But the point is about the skills. If individuals, many of whom are uneducated, can acquire these high-value business skills, what's holding back a good, honest employee? Especially for those of you within education, you were likely exposed to these concepts in school. I have a bachelor's degree in computer science, and I've worked as support staff in schools at every level. From elementary to college, I've seen these very skills being taught. So, what's the disconnect? Why aren't people translating that classroom knowledge into real-world financial success? It's an uncomfortable truth, but it often appears that these illegal entrepreneurs are living better financially than good people who are struggling. I know a lot of you might disagree, and I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. Let me share a personal story that illustrates this perfectly. When I was in my early 20s, I had a friend who was a drug dealer. He used to work on a street corner near one of my old jobs. I'd pass him at least twice a day and we'd often stop and chat. The sad part is, he had a college degree. One day, I saw my company was hiring for a position that paid over $90,000 a year, which was a huge amount of money decades ago. My friend was perfectly qualified. So, on my lunch break, I walked over to his corner to give him the job announcement. He was there with about 9 other guys. In hindsight, I realized there were 10 luxury cars parked on the street: a Lexus, a BMW, a Benz, an Audi, you name it. Each one belonged to one of them. They were all wearing expensive clothes and jewelry. I handed my friend the job posting. He read it and just laughed at me. He told me he could make that $90,000 salary in a good week, sometimes even in a single day. It was only then that I noticed his expensive watch and sneakers. He told me he could easily buy a luxury car if he wanted to. Again, the point isn't to praise this. The point is that most of the other guys on that corner were dropouts. Some never finished high school. This is the kind of story that makes some people say you don't need an education to get rich. I personally don't agree with that, but I understand why they say it. So, what's the takeaway for the average person? If you're struggling financially because of poor money management, you have the power to change your habits. But if you're poor because your income simply doesn't cover your needs, the only real solution is to make more money. It may not seem fair, but that's the reality we live in. You have to increase your financial value. This brings me to the one step that I believe is the key to becoming financially free. You must know your financial value as an employee. And not just know it, but actively work to increase that value every single day. The skills we talked about earlier, marketing, logistics, finance, those aren't just for entrepreneurs or criminals. They are skills that make you more valuable to any employer. How can you market yourself better? How can you understand the finances of your department? How can you become more efficient, improving the logistics of your own workflow? This is how you break the cycle. You start seeing yourself not just as someone who clocks in and out, but as a valuable asset that is constantly growing. There is a proverb in the Bible that speaks about how an evil man builds a temple to himself, while a good man builds a simple altar to God. But the Lord's desires for the good and righteous to be the ones building great temples in his honor. The message is that righteous people are meant for prosperity, not poverty. God does not want you to live in poverty. Your current situation is not your final destination. Let's continue this discussion in the comments and on all my social media channels. I really need your support to grow this community, because my channels are still small. I'm limited on some platforms that can't do things like live streaming or post direct links yet. So, please, if you found this valuable, like and share this video. And most importantly, subscribe and hit that notification bell on all platforms so you don't miss a thing. As always, my final thought for you is this: know your financial value as an employee. Increase your value every workday. Have a great day and a great year.